carried forward. How about right down here? It's a great question, though. Thanks, Barb.
Hello,
What's your name?
Mike. My name's Janice Westmoreland.
Janice?
I'm from Janice Westmoreland.
Hi.
I'm from Baldwin County, Georgia. My concern is, I'm very concerned that this election will be stolen from us through voter fraud. And I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, you know, elections are administered and governed at the state level. We operate the elections at the state level. And, you know, in the state of Indiana, we broke ground. We went all the way to the Supreme Court and we upheld. I think if you have to have a photo ID to cash a check, you ought to have a photo ID to cast your ballot, right? And the Supreme Court of the United States has upheld that. And I don't know if that's yet the law in the state of Georgia, but it is. The governor tells me it is. Good for you. But I think that's an important measure that you're seeing other states take up, and they ought to take up. The second thing, though, I will tell you is very practical, really and truly, Janice, and that is, you know, I've only held 3 elective offices in my lifetime. I'm working on a 4th. Is number 1, I've been governor of the great state of Indiana, greatest honor of my life. I've been a congressman for 12 years. It seemed longer, but I was in Congress for 12 years. And the third thing, I was a precinct committeeman. That's it. I was elected precinct committeeman in my home precinct. And I want to tell you, if you're not involved as a precinct worker, an observer, a poll watcher at your local polls, you need to get involved, because that's where elections happen. That's where accountability happens. And so I would just encourage you to take, if you haven't yet, anyone within the sound of my voice, take greater ownership of the election here in Georgia by getting involved yourself. Okay? I mean, the principle of one person, one vote is at the very heart of our democracy. But it happens one precinct at a time, you know, one county at a time, one state at a time. And so everybody who cares about this agenda and about this election ought to take, before you're done, make the calls, knock on the doors, tell your neighbors and friends, but on election day and in early voting, be there, be a part of it. The American people can ensure that these elections are administered with integrity. I promise you that.
Governor, we have time for one more question.
Okay.
Here in the state of Georgia, we have the electronic machines, and I know there's been a lot of things on the web about being able to rig those. And so how can we make sure that's not done? I know one of the things that they said is to do early voting, but here when you go to do early voting, you hand your paper over to someone and they see who you are, they see exactly what's on your paper. I don't understand why it doesn't go into a box and it counted elsewhere.
Right, right. What's on that hat there? You didn't tell me what's on your hat. Navy veteran. Give her a round of applause. Thanks for your service. Thank you. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for still serving by being here today. God bless you. I think that it's not the mechanism that we administer the votes that ought to create any anxiety. We live in an information age. We can do that. I really do believe that holding accountable those that administer our elections and being involved in that process is very important, very real. I mean, I understand the anxiety that people feel, and we've seen instances of voter fraud in this country over the last 10 and 20 years. But this is an election where I do believe that in states around the country there have been reforms that will ensure greater integrity, whatever the means that the ballots are counted. But I just encourage you, really and truly, that, you know, the elections, it seems like, happen up here in the big public debate, and we hear about a new poll every 15 seconds, right? And a new pundit, there's a new panel on TV talking about elections. Actually happen at the precinct level, and that's where the votes are counted. And so rolling your sleeves up, getting involved at the precinct level, I'm confident that the American people can ensure the integrity of America's elections. I'm confident of that. So I think that's the last one. Let me thank you all. But I want to challenge